How's it, everybody? And a warm welcome to the NFT show. I'm your host, Philip Galinko, and next to me is Cade Bergman, and together we bring you Freestyle Fridays.
Let's fucking
Hey,
go. Let's fucking go. How are you, man?
what's happening?
Yo, yeah. So you like that video, except for my issue, my mistake that I had in the new NFT projects video?
Yeah, very, very good. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. How's your week been?
It's been good, dude. I just did my first Twitter Space podcast, forced because our audio issues on Restream, but it was actually a good time. I actually quite enjoyed myself, and I got a ton of followers from us. Like every time I do a Twitter Space, it's always really positive. It's just hard because I don't want to take away from the YouTube, but I just had a great time doing that. I just did a podcast with Beyond Earth.
Awesome. I did a review on them the other day.
Yeah, I saw that. He's a cool guy, dude. I talked to Andy. He's a really cool guy.
Awesome. All right, let's have a look. We got lots to talk about here. So just having a look at OpenSea volume. If we look at OpenSea daily volume, we had a bit of a spike yesterday on OpenSea, 18.9 million, which is good to see. If we have a look here at all the marketplaces, we can see that we had about 3.5 million on X2Y2, almost 3 million on Magic Eden, 1.5 million on Looks Rare. But if we go back and just have a look at the monthly volume over here, it's not great. It's really not. This is the lowest month in over a year. This is in ETH terms, so not even worried about the change in ETH price. So, just in ETH terms, you're looking at only 241,000 ETH. If you compare that to the height of it, where it was 1.6 million Ethereum, so we're down. But if you look at it in dollar value, it's even worse. We really have had a terrible month. So hopefully this is the bottom. I must tell you, I've been seeing I watch the blue chips very carefully for entries and whatever. And it does feel like, I don't know if it's a short-term bottom or a long-term bottom, but it does feel the last few days we've bottomed. So I was seeing mutants at about 11 ETH. They're now gone up to 14 and a half. I saw Bored Apes back down at about 65. They've now gone up to about 75. Clone X is up about an ETH on the week. So it is possible on NFT value that we just on the ETH value of NFTs that we might have seen a local bottom. Don't know if we're going to dip lower over the next couple of months, but that's what we've seen. But Cade, I don't know if you've seen the crypto markets, my friend. It's dude,
they've been dumping.
Yeah, so we had our friend Powell give a very short statement. I mean, everyone was sort of had their popcorn ready for last time. He gave a lot of info. He spoke for very long. He literally spoke for about 2 minutes only, and he was very, very hawkish. He said that basically that the worst is yet to come. There's still a lot of pain ahead, and he's not expecting inflation to change overnight, and that's pretty much it. And we've seen a huge reaction. So if we have a look here on the stock exchange, I mean that is not great.
Yeah, that is not great.
I mean, it's not just red, but it's like dark red. And dark red means massive. I mean, Amazon down 5%, 4.3%, Microsoft 3.1%, Google 4.8%, Facebook 3.6%, Apple 3%, Berkshire Hathaway 2.25%, JP Morgan Chase 2.6%. I mean, it's really Walmart 2.5%. I mean, not good. MasterCard down 3.5%, Visa down 3%, Nike down 4%. I mean, everything is down. So that's as a result of Powell's comments. It's almost like the gains that we got in the market on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 in the last couple of weeks have almost been erased in one day. It's quite incredible.
The Punchy Penguins volume came in a little bit. The Izu thing pull out a little bit of engagement on OpenSea and stuff, but that's not enough for the whole market, especially for NFTs. That's literally the only two things that were going on.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk a bit about both of them. We're going to talk a bit about both of them tonight. This is what I was showing you about possibly seeing a local bottom, right? So this is 24 hours, and even you can see in the last 24 hours, on the very top ones, there is quite a lot of green and some substantial green. CloneX up 11% in the last 24 hours. Goblin Town up 7%. Rare Ape Yacht Club up 12%. Duplicators up 23%. Cool Cats up 8%. Webiverse up 8%. So that's the last 24 hours. But if we jump to the last 7 days, I want to make this bigger just in case anyone's on a smaller thing. If you have a look here, in the last 7 days, we've got Bored Ape Yacht Club up 7%, Pudgy Penguins up 30%, Mutant Apes up 10%, Other Deed up 6%, 10KTF 10%, Azuki 23%, Clone X 7%, Moonbird Oddities 56%. So I definitely think that we may have hit a local bottom on ETH terms as far as NFTs go, but there's still a lot of macro pain ahead. So who really knows? But it is quite interesting to see this. We really are quite up on the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have too many thoughts on that, honestly, as far as the entire market. Like I've kind of really just been taking things just like week by week. It's just there's not a whole lot of like crazy world-changing news. Like we're kind of just in here in the thick of it. And yeah, I mean that's kind of how I've been doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's what's happening there. And if we jump on here, 24 hours, what's trending? We got Bored Apes number 1, Azuki number 2, Other Deed number 3, Mutants number 4, Lady Ape Club. This one was delisted from OpenSea apparently, bro, but I see it here. Why do I see it here? Yeah, so you see floor price, nothing. So you can't trade them. None of them for sale.
So I feel so bad, dude, because people who bought them are fucked.
Yeah. I mean, we've been screaming from rooftops every single show we've had for the last month that don't buy this. This is wash trading and absolute bullshit. It took them a long time. It took OpenSea a long time to delist this collection.
Yeah, there technically wasn't anything they were doing that's like bad. I mean, they were wash trading for people who don't know. So they were just like basically causing fake sales, but someone was actually buying and selling them. It was just like the same 10 people. Which is just like fake volume in the end of the day, and they're losing money. Their goal was to spark a little bit more volume from other people, but I would say, I hope at least the majority of people were like, nah, but I don't know.
I hope so too. However, it does go against OpenSea's terms and conditions to buy your own collection. You're not allowed to do that. And it's clear as day that these 25 ETH, 40 ETH sales are not legitimate, and it's all by the same wallets. It's quite incredible. The last sale was an hour ago when it was delisted. Someone accepted a 0.68 offer.
Oh, dubs.
So I would imagine that all these under 1 ETH sales are unsuspecting people who didn't know what they were, getting into or getting out of. But all these 25 ETH and all that rubbish is 100. It's the same wallets to each other even. And then this one buys and then that one buys. It's actually so blatant. But I do think that, these smallest sales are going to be people that are thinking they're buying into a really strong collection because of the sales that go on and the fact that it's been trending. Yeah,
I think so.
But look, I'm happy that it's been delisted finally. I just think it's taken, what is this, a month and more than a month.
Well, there's no way to prove it. I mean, there's no way to be like, yeah, that's the founder,
Yeah, I don't know, Cade.
Like, how are you going to do it? It's just a random account.
I don't know. It's the same freaking 5 or 6 accounts buying, true. selling.
Yeah.
It's all on the blockchain. With regards to pointing it back to the owner, that's difficult. You're right. But I mean, the wash trading is obvious, but pointing it back to the owners of the collection is difficult. Yeah. I'm happy it's gone.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so that's number 5. Then we've got ABC, a Solana project, number 6, Clone X, number 7, D-Gods, number 8. These guys are pumping. Quite incredible. They've
Dude,
got
I
the
cannot believe
upcoming
I haven't
drop.
gotten you list.
Did you apply?
Yeah, bro, I'm fucking so butthurt. Like everyone has gotten it, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, bruh, are you kidding me? I don't know how long it keeps going, but so far I haven't gotten it. So I'm a sad
When you
individual.
check when you check on the
to see how it does,
website,
though.
when you check on the website, does it say pending or what does it say?
Let me see. Actually, I'll check right now.
Go have a look.
It's like people have getting little tags on Twitter, right? Because you have to like estimate your socials and stuff.
No, you must go back to the website and check. While you're doing that, I want to chat a little bit about Uzu, which dropped recently. So this has been, a bit of the talk of the town. This is Vultura's project. So Cade actually had an incredible, very rare interview with Vultura, about a 2-hour interview. If you haven't watched it, I highly suggest you go and watch it. It was really, really interesting. So here's their collection, Uzu, which dropped recently.
Wow.
It's supposed to be a 15,000 collection, and the mint price was 0.2 Ethereum. We know that 4,000 were reserved as airdrops for people who own the Psychosilent and another one of the sub-collection NFTs. You had to own both of those in order to get the airdrop. So 4,000 are going to be airdrops. And then because the volume of sales were going down, they've capped the collection at 5,200. But they've said for every one that you own, we will drop you one. So that's effectively going to take the collection to 10,400 plus 4,000 plus minus for airdrops for the holders who hold the previous psychedelics components. That takes you to about 14,000 something. So that's how they got there. So that's really taking mint price down to 0.1, because if you minted one at 0.2 and held, then you're ending up getting 2 for that price. And this is a very interesting one because it's the first wear to earn thing. So basically, you'll be wearing their clothing it will track where you're wearing it and how often, and you'll earn for wearing branded clothing, which I found very interesting. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, Cade, because you know a lot about this and you know a lot about Vultura and everything. What are you thinking?
So I interviewed him a few weeks ago. We had that full podcast. That was great. So I've actually spoken to him since, and we are setting up the second round. I don't know if it'll be with Volt this time. It'll definitely be with Izu. So this one's going to be specifically on the Izu project because I just listened to about 5 hours of recorded Twitter Spaces yesterday to prepare for the interview and also to prepare for a video that I'm covering. So it's a new stylist series I'm doing, but part of the series, or part of the video will be just covering what happened with Izu and all the information around it. Izu is separate from Psychedelic Anonymous, guys. So Psychedelic Anonymous is Vultura's brainchild. Izu is kind of like just another project. It's not really, it's tied to Psychedelic Anonymous, but not the same way that people are thinking. So Izu is its own product thing. Like they're just trying to make products and ship them out and make a business structure. Like that's what Izu is. It's separate. And they have a whole team, right? Like Louis Gale is in charge, which is Vultura. He's going to be in charge of strategy, marketing, and stuff like that. But for the most part, he's not running that project the way he's going to be running Psychedelic Anonymous. So I think that they should have done a 0.2 ETH drop. One thing that's interesting that I'm going to talk about in the video is that they had exactly the same run-up and situation that Cool Man's Universe had leading up to their babies. Babies flopped. They had way too big of a collection, way too high mint price. It failed. Everyone got pissed. FUD, floor was crashing. So one of the main things that they had in common was that Psychedelic Anonymous was going down in floor price the weeks leading up to Izu. The same thing happened with Cool Man's Universe. It was just crashing consistently from like 0.9 to like 0.6 or 0.5 by the time the babies came. It was like, why are we going to buy this depreciating assets secondary collection? So that was like one of the things, just timing. That's kind of hard to combat. And then when they made the decision to airdrop everyone the remainder of the Izu, I get what he's trying to do, and it will probably be a best decision long term, but in the short term, that's gonna hurt. That floor is gonna crash, I think, pretty hard.
It will crash when you get the airdrop because everyone's holding now because you have to hold it in order to get the airdrop. I think you should have just cut the collection, make it a 10,000 collection, and not airdrop it. The other interesting thing about this collection was this was the first Ethereum collection to drop on Magic Eden's launchpad, which is very, very interesting. Yeah, because you could mint it either in Ethereum or Solana. It is an Ethereum project, so that's the project, but you could pay in Solana, which was really, really cool. And I must say, my hats off to Magic Eden because there was, you see, they say here sold out. There was a lot of people, like 1,000 people trying to mint in the very beginning.
Yep.
I was one of them. And gas was nothing, bro. Gas was really, really fine. Everything went without a hitch. I had really hats off to Magic Eden. Their website was stable. It dropped on time, like exactly on time. It had a countdown here, and literally on the second it was ready. So just as far
Nice.
as Magic Eden in this, I think that this was really showing what these guys are made of and made me just incredibly bullish on Magic Eden as a whole. I'm still scared of Solana NFTs, but here you have an Ethereum, you have an Ethereum project that's on Solana, minted on Solana, also appears on OpenSea, and look to sell 5,000 in a market that we're in at point two is not terrible. I mean, it could have been a lot worse in my opinion. I think they did pretty well.
I'm interested to see how D go. Also, you list I'm under review. It says still, so I have a
Yeah,
chance.
exactly. So you
But
got to
with
just
I'm
wait
really
until
interested to
yeah.
see what happens because Isu flopped a little bit. No one was expecting it. Everyone comes out of the woods now, and they're like, "See, they shouldn't have done this because this, that, and the other." It's like, well, if they had not flopped, you would have had a completely different thesis as to why it didn't flop. And so it's just one of those things that's just how it
I
happened. But
don't think it's a
I am
flop.
interested to see what happened. I
I
don't know. I don't
don't
think it's
think
a
it's a
flop. I
flop.
think they flopped.
Yeah,
I think they flopped the drop. I think they flopped the drop. Come on.
because they never minted out. Is that what you're saying?
No, they just okay. So here's one of the things that people are really pissed about. Because I listened to the full 5 hours of spaces that Volt did. They're mad that they felt like the Psychedelic Anonymous holders aren't getting enough benefit. They're not getting the benefits they thought they were going to get by holding. And then two, they didn't have a community for Izu. They didn't have their own Discord. They didn't have their own community. It was all Psychedelic Anonymous people. People were like, "Who is Izu? Like, who's on the team?" No one knew. They didn't do enough of identity searching and identity establishing for the Izu project brand to have done anything. It was just like even me after doing all the research, I was like, so it's basically just Psychedelic Anonymous's like passion project or something. Like it was a bit confusing still. Like I understood the majority of it, but it was still a bit confusing. And I think that's the main reason that I would say the drop wasn't like not a complete fail, but they fucked the drop a little bit, and that's okay. Like it's not like it's just what happens. But I mean, he's been hitting dubs every single time before that. So for people to be like,
Yeah.
now this is just him stealing all the money from the ecosystem, I'm like, guys, you can't look at it like that. It's not about the whole ecosystem.
No, I don't think
He's
it's
one
that. I think
project.
he's going to keep building. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It would have been good if they had their own Discord. They have since launched their own Discord for Izu.
Yep.
It would have been good if they had their own Discord and made it separate. But look, I mean, as far as going for 15,000, knowing that you were going to have to airdrop about 5,000, let's just average it out, to holders of certain components from Psychedelics Anonymous. So he was basically going after a 10,000 collection at point two. And you know what? He shot for the moon. And he hit the stars, but the truth is, I think the big mistake now is not cutting that collection to 10,000. I think keeping it 15,000 and airdropping minters is a big mistake because the second that those tokens are airdropped, that floor is going to go to 0.1, under 0.1.
Way under 0.1, I think. I think it's gonna be close to
Yeah.
0.07, 0.08. I was so if they cut the collection there, I think their worry was that they wanted this to be bigger than the Psychedelic Anonymous collection, so it could get more and more people in. The thing is, you're airdropping it to the people who already have it, so it's not exactly doing that. But in the long term, I think it will, because in the long term, the next 5 years, there will be people who will be able to get into the ecosystem because there's not 5,000, there's 15,000. So in a long roundabout way, it'll work, I think. But in the short term, it's gonna hurt as far as their ego. The thing is, they got the funding. Like it's not about the floor price for Izu. It's about selling. It's about like having money. So they're funding, and in that sense, they're just gonna keep doing their thing. They're not gonna be able to do as much as they could have if they had sold out. But I imagine they're gonna have they're gonna be fine, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So very, very interesting. All right, guys. So what have we got here? You're not that late. You're not that late.
You good?
Just spoke about how markets are crashed, and now we're talking about the news. So you're not late. Let's see. What have we got here? Did you see this? Ferocious's $600,000 sale.
No, what is this?
So for those of you that don't know, this is Ferocious, the artist that everyone always talks about. And
I've never heard of him. Who is that?
Pharaoh's World. They were big at NFT New York. They've got quite a few collections. Ferocious, the
Pharaoh?
artist. Pharaoh.
How do you spell that?
The green Ferocious.
Oh. Ferocious. I have never heard of this project. Wow. Okay, continue. Sorry.
No worries. So this piece of art over here was bought by Punk 65 whatever for 350 Ethereum.
Oh my god. Wow.
So a teen NFT artist, Victor Lanclos, commonly known as Ferocious, has once again set an all-time high. The NFT masterpiece, The Sailor, sold for $600,000, just under, on Super Rare. It was purchased by Punk 6529. Yeah, I mean, so that's an incredible sale. And I think, it just shows the art meta is alive and well despite the bull.
Yep,
Whoopsie,
100%.
sorry.
That's actually a point that I want to bring up real quick. So one thing that came up after I was listening to the Bored Ape Yacht Club podcast last week with Full Send, they were kind of talking about like the culture behind the apes and all this stuff. And every time I hear anything that's like from the summer of last year, it's like the first time in my life I've ever had a nostalgic feeling to the past. Like I really don't look at the past with much nostalgia except for the NFT summer that we had last year. And I get these like feelings. I'm like, man, I really want like a community around these like silly little avatars for some reason. And the idea of like a soulbound token tied to art. So like the reason I'm bringing this up is because this art piece, like for people who don't know, I have my own art piece collections. They're all my NFT photography. But at some point I want to have like a soulbound token to those access keys. That it'll be like it'll be like the Joyager collection, right? And that'll be like a Joyager avatar PFP style thing. And like that'll be the soulbound token that goes to the access key that way, because my access keys aren't PFPs. You can't like, I mean, I guess you could, but it would just look kind of silly if it was like a picture of like a mountain that I took in the middle of like Washington State, and that's your profile picture. So yeah, and I don't know, I just thought it was cool. And this also reminds me a little bit of I don't know why it just popped in my head of like the Pudgy Penguins, probably because of the big sale. And like the Pudgy Penguin had that 400 sale. Is that also one of the stories coming up? I don't want to jump ahead.
Yeah, so that's coming up,
Cool.
but it's fine. I just want to talk a little bit about Ferocious. So, in the space, Xcopy is really the OG. So Xcopy was a digital artist before he was a physical artist. So he was going to galleries 10 years ago saying, I want to show you digital art. I want to have a digital art exhibition. And they were laughing at him. So unlike most other artists who are physical artists first and then become digital artists, Xcopy is a proper digital artist. And then Ferocious is really followed in those footsteps. Has got a lot of notable collections on Super Rare. Recently launched a very successful collection on OpenSea called Pharaoh's Paint, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just see what comes up. Has done collabs with RTKFT for sneakers, was one of the first artists to do those collabs with RTFKT. So it's really, really notable and up and coming, has a lot of support. I stand to be corrected. I think he is trans. I'm not 100% sure, like exactly, but he doesn't hide it, and he's very open about who he is, and is himself a young guy, and definitely like one of the biggest upcoming artists in the space for sure.
Very true.
There's a lot here. Can you see?
True.
Can you see, Cade?
Yeah, I can. That's very cool stuff, dude.
Just waiting.
I love seeing artists do shit and like people receiving it well. It's just cool. Nice.
Yeah,
wow.
So I mean, look at this volume.
Oh my god.
2,900 ETH.
Wait,
and these are all the same. And look at the floor price, just to give you a little bit of background here. And here's the big one, the one where he did an incredible thing at NFT in New York. I've seen videos of it where people were painting. He had big canvases up. So here he's got a 7,000 collection with a floor price of 0.33. And we're still waiting to see what these art drops are going to turn into.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's wild.
And this is just OpenSea.
That is impressive.
He's big, like big everywhere else as well, like Super Rare and all of that.
Yeah.
So I know you itching. I can feel the itching. Let's talk about it, Cade. Let's talk about it. 400 ETH Pudgy Penguin sale. Go.
God, dude. Well, so I've done like 3 videos on them, right? And my first one, I that was like my new style of video. So I'm pulling in people's reactions to big things, influencers, celebrities, like whoever. Just like I just think it's interesting to bring in that side, not just an analysis of what happened. So essentially, a few months ago, Luca bought Pudgy Penguins for 750 Ethereum, the entire IP and the entire brand, and then they come out and say, we're doing toys. And then they say, we have a new advisory board with the CEO of Nansen AI, partnerships at Meta, former at Nike, former Starbucks, former at all these big companies, right? And then look, they just posted this too. Yeah, a children's book. So basically 3 bits of huge bullish news, at least for speculation, right? And then someone times a 400 Ethereum sale. Now, in my opinion, there's absolutely no chance that wasn't planned. Like, that has to be planned. There's just no way that kind of thing happens at the same time. Like, that was too clutch. It was too clutch. And this motherfucker bought the most rare Pudgy Penguin for more than half of what Luca paid for the entire brand. Absolutely nuts, dude. And I will be interviewing Luca. We have a confirmed podcast with the CEO of Pudgy Penguins. So we'll pick his brain in a few days, hopefully, and kind of figure out what's going on in that head. He's a really interesting dude. He's a big guy in the e-commerce world. A lot of people know him, like all the e-com, e-shipping, those kind of guys. They all know him.
So this is the wallet of the guy who bought it. He's definitely into penguins. That's for sure. He has all these little pudgies. He has a Pudgy Pepe, which is hilarious. A derivative, but he's got a cool cat over here.
Damn, he paid 11 ETH for that thing, bro.
Yeah, but you get guys like this. They would rather have like the rares. Axolitlls, I don't know if you remember these. Wow, I
remember.
haven't seen those for a long time.
Wow, very long time.
Even Cozy Penguins. It was that free drop by ex-Facebook guy that I still think is going to do well. He's got his Pudgy Penguins on 10k 10KTF stuff, which is hilarious. It's just funny. So, I mean, he's got the penguin buyer.eth. He's definitely into his pudgies. You know what's interesting about the sale? It's actually the guy who bought it lost on this. So the big thing about this pudgy, he's facing left instead of right. He's the only one in the collection. So in theory, this is the rarest Pudgy Penguin. We have seen them pumping for the last couple of weeks. And if you look here, a year ago, it was sold to an offer of 225 Ethereum.
Jeez.
But if you look at the ETH value on that day, was $3,400. Cade, do you have a calculator?
I do.
3,500 because it's 3,499. 3,500 times 225 in US
$787,000. Sorry, 787,500.
Yeah. Whereas this was now 400 ETH.
Yeah, that was about 650K.
Yeah. So the guy, this guy, Coin United, has been holding on to this pudgy for a year. I mean, I'm sure he's just happy to get rid of it, but I mean that's a huge amount of money. But he's lost $100,000 on it. And if we just, out of interest, look at his wallet, and I haven't done this before, just discovering it with you guys over here. So here, to answer you, Cade, just read that comment yourself. That's the answer to the guy who bought it.
He has a DAO that has his DAO holders vote on his purchases. He got their permission to buy the penguin. The guy who bought it, he was talking mad shit on Twitter. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
He represents a DAO, and the DAO voted that they wanted this pudgy in their vault. So there's your answer.
That is very weird because he was giving this like attitude on Twitter as if like he just doesn't give a fuck. And he's just so rich. That's the initial reaction I took from the way he was tweeting. I didn't no idea he was in charge of a DAO like that. That's pretty cool.
Well, not in charge of a DAO, because a DAO by default is like, no one's really in charge. Right. But representing and buying it. Look, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in that, and I didn't know it was a DAO. But I do think it's interesting. I do think it's interesting to see the wallet of the guy who was holding it for so long, right? Because he's quite a collector. I mean, he forked out a lot of money for it as well. I mean, 225 ETH, $700,000. He also a big Pudgy Penguin fan over here. Don't you enjoy looking at guys' wallets, especially like notable guys?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. See how much shit they got in their wallets and their hot wallets. Plus, like it's also fun because you don't know if it's their primary wallet. They might have 10 wallets. You don't know.
Yeah.
Jeez, this guy's got money, bro. God damn.
So this is the guy who sold it, right?
Yeah.
He's got $600,000 more now.
What would you do if you had a $600,000 payday?
Yeah, he's the head of a DAO, and then on top of that, there's a good interview of him on Rung Radio 3 days ago explaining this.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be listening to that one. I'm finishing up his podcast with there was one from like 2 years ago I'm gonna watch with Luca on it, and then there's a Rung Radio episode like you were just saying. I'll listen to that. Fire. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Starhan. Yeah. What would I do with $600,000? Was that the question?
Would you just sit? Yeah, would you just sit on it?
No, I'd invest it. I put, $500,000 into the stock market, and I'd buy a nice jersey or something with about 100 of the dollars, and I'd be DJing with 100,000 of the dollars.
Damn, you guys heard it here first. Philip would not buy me a mutant ape. He was gifted over $500,000, and Philip is not going to buy me a mutant ape. Disrespectful.
Listen, if you gifted me the $500,000, I would definitely get you a mutant ape.
Wow, this guy's got fucking a lot of these things.
Yeah, OnlyForce. I heard rumblings of something happening with OnlyForce, expecting an announcement soon. Not financial advice at all. And it was I can't even remember the source, but I did come across it on Twitter. But I mean, you can't believe everything. But I did hear that today. Zrun, do you remember these? I mean, that's
also he had a punk. Did you see the punk?
I'll go up again.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. That's a good buy. 23 ETH.
That is a good one too. With the fucking cigarette, that's cool.
Even if ETH was at its highest at $4,000, he's still way up on that one. That's a good one for sure. Let's sort it by highest last sale. And then we'll get to see.
Good idea. Good call.
Recently listed. Yeah. Highest last sale. Wow. He paid.
God damn.
Bro, he paid 110 Ethereum for this cool cat.
That's not even like a good one, bro. I mean, I know it's ranked 12.
It must be.
Like, it's ranked 2, but like I don't know.
You don't
like there's some
vibe with it.
Ones that are better. It's cool. It's just different. That's why it's ranked so high. I just like I feel like the classic cool cats almost look better. Like the more simple ones, I always go more simple.
And look at this, 45 Ethereum for this ring.
Wow. Who the fuck is this
39 Ethereum for this Floyd Mayweather thing.
Oh, wait, hold on. Should I answer this phone call? It's Andres.
Yeah, I just let me know when you finish. Sure.
Let me see. Hold on. Yo, you're on the Philip NFT show stream.
Welcome, Andres.
Real quick, I'm trying to think of the marketplace on the top of my head for one of one art. What is it called? I'm drawing blank.
Foundation?
No, not Foundation.
Super rare.
Super rare. Yeah. Thank you.
Hell yeah. I'll talk to you later.
Hey.
Bye. he just needed a quick question answered.
We were talking about super rare now. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Okay. All right. So cool cats. What else? Animeta. 35 Ethereum for this, bro.
Wow. What the fuck?
You see, this is the problem with collecting the rarest in every collection. This is also a rank 2. If it goes to hell, I mean, you've lost 35 Ethereum.
Even if it goes to the moon, who's going to buy the top rank? Like, you're still in a very small category of people that can afford that, you know? So like even if the project goes up, like it's more of a flex to have it than it is to like the chance of you being able to sell a rank 1 Bored Ape Yacht Club for what you want is hard because not that many people can afford it.
Wow. Listen, alrighty. I mean, 10 ETH for almost each of these Only Forces, hey?
Jesus Christ. Only one, dude. Honestly, only one. I'm surprised hasn't made a comeback. They've got so many people who bought in so high, and it's cool art. It was like one of the. I think it might have been the first ever anime project, big anime project.
He's got a lot. Wow.
Yeah, he's got a ton.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a big meta when that was happening. Logan Paul bought in, all the celebrities bought in. I remember being like kind of unimpressed. Like all the anime projects for me are kind of unimpressive because they all look around the same except for Oni One Force. Oni One Force is a bit of a different color scheme going, but for the most part, they're all like the same. And I know like all NFTs are basically the same, but at least they're all different animals. Like with anime, it's like all just like a girl and a boy character, and they all have like a sword and a fucking samurai traits, and like that's pretty much it.
It's crazy. They did pump when we had that anime pump a couple of months ago. They did pump a bit, but yeah, very, very interesting, hey?
Yeah.
All right, so Cade, you want to win $1 million, brother, so you can buy me a Bored Ape.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I'll buy you a Bored Ape.
Yeah, cool. Especially if I'm the one who shows you. So check here. Ethereum has said that if you can find a bug in their software, they will give you, I'm going to have to open this separately, they will give you $1 million before their software upgrade. Wow. So I think this is great. Basically, it's cheaper than them hiring 50, 60, 70 developers, right, to try and find this thing. So, and they've said, anyone, go out there, hack it, find a bug before we do the merge that we think is going to take place around the 10th of September. And if you find a legitimate bug or a hole or something in our code, we will pay you $1 million.
Wow. How the fuck, how are they going to like go through everyone's entries and stuff?
Don't know.
How does that work?
So they have been doing this. They've been offering $250,000 up to now, and now they've increased it to $1 million.
Wow. Damn. That is crazy, but necessary because ETH is making big moves, dude. I've become more of an ETH bull over the past year or so. I didn't really understand it until like this year, and I was like, oh, this is why everyone fucks with ETH. They're out here making moves.
Well, the merge is huge because the merge makes Ethereum deflationary for the first time. So every time someone transacts on the Ethereum network, some ETH is going to be burnt. So almost like Bitcoin, right, where there's a limited supply. That's it. Whereas ETH never had that. Whereas now they do have that deflationary aspect, which is very, very bullish. And with the staking that they're introducing to secure the network, and it's not the same staking that we talk about when we look at staking our NFT in the projects. This is what staking was made for, is to secure blockchains, and currencies. It wasn't made to show that you love your project and you're never going to sell. I mean, it's just opportunistic of projects to do that. It really is, to try to discourage their holders from selling. This is what staking was made for. So this is really, really big news. And I've heard guys like BitBoy Crypto, I mean, love him or hate him, but I've heard guys like that, I'm just saying on that level, who strongly believe that 10 years down the line Ethereum is going to flip Bitcoin.
Dude, I mean, have you heard the FUD about BitBoy Crypto, by the way?
Yeah, him suing that guy, and then, right? Is that what you're saying?
He sued him, and then he retracted his sue after like everyone backed the other guy and like gave him $500,000 to fight him. He was like, ah, shit. Because he was only suing for like $75K. And so he's like, I'm going to spend more on lawyer fees and I'm going to lose this battle.
Yeah, I saw that. But today, like literally just before the stream, I saw that apparently the guy who he was suing said that this hasn't been put to rest. He received new papers from BitBoy Crypto today. So I don't know what's going on.
Probably along the lines of restructuring the argument against him, because they were arguing that he was impeding BitBoy's ability to give financial advice. And in CoffeeZilla's video, he was like, wait, what? You're giving financial advice? Like, I thought you don't give financial advice. And I think that was like the big argument. And probably BitBoy Crypto was like, fuck, we gotta redo that little proposal there because he's absolutely right. I think it's probably something to do with that because in that video, I didn't watch the whole video, but the way it was described to me is he was kind of like attacking his character or whatever. And like, maybe there's a case that I don't exactly know how it works in the legal system. It's pretty ridiculous, I think, but I don't know. We'll see.
The truth is that for $75,000, his BitBoy is losing more in reputational damage than $75,000, and it's absolutely
he's taking
silly.
A hole. He's taking a hole for himself.
I think it's become about ego now. And whenever the ego gets in the way, you're in for a world of trouble, bro.
And that's why we like matter. Exactly, and that's why we stream. Like that's why I stream with like friends because there will be a time, as long as we don't stop, there will be a time where we're just bigger and inevitably. And there will be a point where your head can get big because you're not like everyone's basically pandering to you. Everyone wants to give you whitelists. Everyone wants to give you stuff. So you probably get a big head and a big ego. But like hopefully this is where our friends and our group chats that we're in and stuff can keep each other in check. If one of us starts to become a degenerate piece of shit, we can be like, yo, what are you doing? Like you look like an idiot, or like that is not the right move, or like delete that tweet. Like, what are you doing? And we kind of hold each other accountable. So that's the one thing that the crypto world doesn't have. They don't have everyone. They're not like friends like the NFT people are. I feel like a lot of the NFT people are like friends. They all hang out and talk, and there's communities and discords, and a lot more of a family feel than like the crypto world. They're all kind of like doing their own thing.
Yeah, I think it is in crypto as well. So I don't know if you've heard of Ran Nunye. He's actually a South African guy. He's got a huge crypto stream. I think they're the biggest crypto streamers in the world, if I'm not mistaken. Ran Nunye. Ran Nunye. The stream is called Crypto Banter. He was very good friends with Terra Luna, the Terra Luna founder. He was one of the biggest Terra Luna holders. Run.
Oh,
he lost over $100 million with the Terra crash.
$100
million. He's over that.
How the fuck is he
more than that?
Bro, I'm just trying to get 100.
So he's a very successful. $100. He lost $100 million. So US dollars. So he's a very successful businessman. Started a huge advertising agency here in South Africa called the Creative Council. They had offices all over Africa. At the heart of their business, they hired 5,000 people. Massive company, and he sold at the top. He sold out at the top. Joined CNBC Africa, so that's like a news, quite a big international news organization, but it joined the South African division to do the first crypto broadcast, and he on TV. And then when COVID hit and he couldn't go into whatever, he started big on YouTube, and he's been doing that for 2 years now. They've got, I think, over 1 million subscribers, I think well over. They're incredible. I mean, but they're just crypto. They're not NFTs. But the point of this is that he knew Doc One personally and was friends with him, in inverted commas, friends. So you just made me think of that because you said like it's only in NFTs. No, I think the big boys in crypto know each other as well, Yeah.
True.
Alrighty. We went on a bit of a tangent there. That's what Freestyle Fridays is. That's the freestyle part of Freestyle Fridays. Speaking about hundreds of millions of dollars to make all of us feel completely depressed. You like it with my glasses.
Yeah, I think it's fucking funny, dude. I love this. I love that.
So Nike so far has made $185 million on NFTs. You must remember they came into Clone X, I think it was around about a year ago now. So in 1 year, Nike has made $185 million just via NFT sales. So any Web2 company that is saying that, look, it's all degen and there's no real money in it and it's just whatever, if you do it correctly and you have a look here, then you can make $185 million too if you are, a Puma, Adidas, anyone else doing it. But
why do you think Nike had success and Adidas and Gucci didn't as much?
Nike hit the ground. Look, I don't know. I mean, I don't deal with hundreds of millions of dollars, but Nike, in my humble opinion, Nike hit the ground running. So they came with an existing collection, first of all, that had sold out, and there was quite a lot of hype around it. And then almost instantly, like within a couple of weeks, they started airdropping. They did very much the Bored Ape Yacht Club approach. When the Bored Ape Yacht Club approach still worked. I know everyone's trying to do that now. So they came straight away, and they were ready with their airdrops. It was just a surprise airdrop of your first metaverse thing that they were doing. Then they came with the second airdrop, then the third, and they just kept giving you value on top of value that no one wants to sell, because what are they going to bring next? And that's the way you really do it, is you got to give your client, your NFT holder, second thought when they're thinking of listing it. Yeah, I'm going to list it for 6, but listen, the last airdrop I got was worth 5, so maybe I should just hold on, And yeah, they really were first movers in the space. They were the big boys, the first clothing brand to come in. So they've got that benefit as well. Adidas was after them. Gucci was after them. Champion tried to come in through non-fungible people. That never worked. I'm sure they'll try again somehow. But they were the first. You compared that to Adidas, who dropped a token holder and left it as a token holder for months on months, didn't have their own Discord, when used G-Money and whatever's Discord to drop it in the beginning. They weren't ready. They wanted to get a foot in the door first, and then they were going to build. Whereas it seems to me that Nike has been working on this behind the scenes for a lot longer. Like even their AR hoodie drop, which there's a lot of questions about whether it was good or bad and whatever. Everyone can have their opinion, but they said that they've been working on this metaverse wearables for the last 6 years. So I think they had a plan, and they have a plan. They have a very firm vision and roadmap. Like Nike, I mean, that they're not telling us. They know where they're going with this. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I think I need to do a podcast with them.
Listen, if you do, can I come also? Because that would be incredible. I'm like, for me, it's Bored Ape Yacht Club, including CryptoPunks, whatever, and then CloneX. That's it. So for me,
we could probably do a little segment in there and just add you in for a few minutes and have you jump in. I think that'd be pretty funny.
You know what? Fuck you. I will get them on my show, and then I'll do a little segment where we'll bring you on for a few seconds. How about that?
we could do a tea time thing type of situation. That'd be actually a good one, because sometimes me and Tom will find people that we both want to interview, and we're like, yo, fuck it, we should just do like a joint one where we have them like in the center, and then we both on the side, and we just do like a joint podcast. We just kind of like vibe for an hour and a half.
And when you approach them, you can tell them it will be streamed on both our channels. The reason I'm saying I really think that we've got very little chance, either of us or both of us, of getting them. I really do. But try. I'd love to.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd be down for sure.
So we see here JR saying Nike, their acquisition of RTKFT was key in their positioning. The king of Web 2 in the Web 3 space. Then we got Anthony saying Nike was early, yes, and built a good reputation. I agree with that for sure. And then we've got Anthony laughing at me saying, fuck you, I'll have Nike, and you can come on for a second. All right, I think we've caught up here. Dahon, I'll come to your question at the end for sure. So if you stick around, I'll come to it and we can discuss it. All right, what else have we got over here, my brother? Oh, this was really, really cool. I really like this. MasterCard to enable, they're not doing it officially yet, but they want to enable crypto purchases at 90 million stores. So basically, MasterCard wants to allow you to use, if you're a MasterCard holder, they want to allow you to use crypto on MasterCard, right? There we go. Hold on.
Philip's been knocked
Left
over.
the building. My whole thing fell down.
CloneX told Philip that they want to be on the George Kingdom podcast instead, and this is Philip's reaction.
I'm back.
He's back.
All right. So MasterCard CEO says we're working with Binance to let people spend crypto at more than 90 million stores,
Jeez.
which
That
I
is
think is
wild.
absolutely incredible. And, he says here, this is his official LinkedIn post. Let me see if I can make it bigger, actually. Let me see. There we go. So we can unlock the full potential of blockchain technology when we make it easier to access and easier to use. One way we do that is by bringing crypto to everyday purchases. To make that a reality, we're working with Binance to let people use their crypto to make purchases at 90 million plus stores that accept MasterCard. They're starting in Argentina, and then they're going to expand from there. So they are going ahead with a pilot project in Argentina. What could the blockchain industry look like in 5 years? We're seeing hints of that. And this is the CEO of MasterCard's LinkedIn post.
Wow. Let's go.
Yeah.
Blockchain,
That's
baby.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love
bro,
that.
that's proper. That's really, really. And you got the same as we saying Nike, and then Adidas comes in the space. You got to know that if when Visa sees this, they're going to be busy speaking to Coinbase or the next big one and saying, how do we start doing this? Because it's constantly that race.
Yeah, and I got Visa, so hurry it up, Visa. Do something cool.
Okay, here's the full article over here, but there's nothing new here. But yeah, very, very, very cool. All right, and then we got DGods absolutely flying at the moment, my brother.
It's crazy. Dude.
So DGods has surpassed ETH Project, Bored Ape Kennel Club, Doodles, CloneX, and Azuki to enter the top 5 projects. Obviously,
Wow.
that's just a snapshot now. Like that's the last couple of days what it's been doing. And then there's a really interesting thread over here about DGods and the team. Obviously, Frank there is very, very, their dust token is doing incredibly well. It's around $3 at the moment because Ute is going to mint in this dust token. So everyone who gets it is going to need dust, and they really have done well to hype this up. I would hazard to say that Ute is probably one of the most hyped, second to Meme Land, is the most hyped project that we have at the moment. I mean, here you can have a look at the floor price of dust, how it's gone up. It's just absolutely incredible.
I wonder how much it's going to cost to mint.
I actually don't know. I don't think anyone knows because there's going to be a certain amount of dust. I don't know that they've said it. It's the same as what Yuga did with the other side. But also we don't know what dust is going to be when they actually mint because it's just rising and rising at the moment, right? So even if they've said it's going to be like 100 dust, but dust might go to, $7 or $10. So then it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hope they don't make another mistake of doing a high mid price because that is not faring well. It doesn't matter who you are, apparently. It's not working. So I think the Bored Ape Yacht Club will probably be the only ecosystem that could pull off like an expensive mint and have it not shit itself.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, DGods is the leading Solana project. That's the bottom line. They are the Bored Ape Yacht Club of Solana. And I know that's not the same, but I'm just saying they are. So in the end of the day, they are trying to establish themselves as such. And Ute is their Mutant Ape Yacht Club collection, right? But look, I mean, you can't even buy them at the moment. Last sale 200 Solana. I don't know how long ago that was. Maybe you just can't buy them.
Oh
yet.
wait, why? Yeah, that's weird. Oh, you don't have buy now toggled on though.
No, I don't think it makes a difference because it's got no floor price.
Wait, what? Oh, is it only tradable on Magic Eden?
No, look, there's been sales here. From Magic Eden to yeah.
Okay.
So they're showing it. They're showing it on OpenSea. But it's not for sale on OpenSea. That's interesting, hey?
Dude,
look,
we should have listened
sales...
to Cody. Yeah, I think so. We should have listened to Cody when I had him on my podcast. I asked him what his favorite project was, and he was like DGods by far. And I was like, I hadn't even heard of it. Like no one really had. It was before they were like pumping and like everyone was talking about them. So like if you had listened to Cody, we'd probably be rich. So next time.
No, so the Solana guys know. As I said, DGods is the Bored Ape Yacht Club of Solana, bro. Always has been. They are the leading Solana project.
What about when OK Bears came out, though?
No, so that's the same as when Goblins went to 10 ETH in our ecosystem. That was a new
No,
project
but
that
like
dropped.
Bored Ape Club's been
These are the
established.
OGs.
How long have
These
they been
guys,
out?
DGods is. I don't know that I can see on OpenSea correctly. Otherwise, we'll jump onto Magic Eden. But a long time. Let's see. Well, I
So they
don't know
got
if this
about.
is the beginning. I don't know if this is the
It
beginning. This is
looks like
January
it.
the 1st.
Yeah,
It does.
we'll
It
see.
does look like it is. But let's just double check it. You're funny.
I
It looks
mean,
like it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, it does. It does.
For me,
But
for
still,
me,
that's 8 months, my brother. That's not the same as like OK Bears that's been out for 2 months.
right? No, but what I'm saying is, I don't know if DGods has qualified as like a Bored Ape Yacht Club. Like this is the one. This is probably just like the one that's leading right now. I don't know if they've just I don't know if they have that kind of like way about Solana. I don't know if that makes sense. But
Yeah, no,
I
I understand. I also don't look. I don't know the Solana ecosystem so well either, but I do go into a lot of spaces and listen to quite a few podcasts. And the guys I've heard talking about DGods throughout have always equated it as the OG in the Solana space.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna do a stream
with
Cody one day. We'll do a trading stream with like we'll start with like 10 Sol or 100 Sol, whatever it is, and we'll do like a trading thing. Because I gotta learn Solana because I want to do a couple of reviews on some of the Solana projects. I'd like to know how the marketplace works a little bit too.
So if I go to all time here, it does look like it was launched January the 1st on Magic Eden. I just wanted to double check that. But it does look like that. This will confirm it for me. Oh, no, that only goes back 60 days. Jeez, they've got quite amazing stats here on Magic Eden. Hey, are you checking this?
Yeah, crazy. What do you guys think? If you're watching right now, if you're in the chat, what do you guys think about DGods? I didn't really know about it or take it seriously until really the last couple of weeks. DGods, okay, #1 blue chip. Damn, I did not know that. I knew it was up there.
Anthony, has it always been? Let us know in the comments if it's always been, because I'm not going to present myself as a Solana expert, but I do know that DGods has been considered really great. All right.
Yeah, the Frank guy has a massive reputation, so really helpful.
Yeah. Look at Bianca does these thumbnails. Check at her having me eyeing out the chicken.
I love it, dude. That's fucking hilarious.
She's got me eyeing out the bucket of chicken. It's hilarious because I love KFC.
Do you?
Oh, that's
you love
funny.
KFC?
Yeah. Delicious, man.
That's funny. I haven't been to KFC in a long time.
I always get a bit sick from it, but it's worth it.
Do you overeat or why?
No, not from overeating. I don't know. I think the oil or whatever. Anthony says it's always been blue chip, and that's also what I've heard. Is like DGods is the, because I also think Solana only really, they weren't running Magic Eden as when Bored Ape Yacht Club launched last year. You're gonna really be hard pressed to find. When did Magic Eden? Let's just jump back there before I eat all this chicken. Let's just say here, when did Magic Eden launch? They may have only launched on the 1st of January this year, bro. September 2021.
Cool. Right on. Also, on the food thing, what are you normally eating? Like, what's your normal week of food?
What do you mean? Like,
what do you normally eat? Are you healthy? Do you guys eat super healthy? Are you guys like vegan or something? Like, what's your normal?
No. We're nothing weird. Typically speaking, Bianca will make sandwiches for all of us for school and work. but white bread and not funny stuff. Either tuna mayonnaise or chicken mayonnaise or chicken and tomato sauce with pickles or something, just a sandwich. And then for supper will usually be like a starch and a protein, like chicken and rice or potato or spaghetti bolognese or don't know, just like I don't know.
No fruit, Philip? No fruit?
Me, no fruit and no
vegetables
really? At all.
Interesting.
I'm not interested, bro.
Interesting.
There's a limited amount of space in my stomach, and I want to fill it with deliciousness. So I like seasonal fruit. So like mangoes, lychees, watermelon, like that stuff. I'll eat fruit in summer. I like that type of fruit. I'm not a huge apple, pear, banana guy. I mean, once in a while, if there's nothing else, I'll grab one. But the kids
You
love
walk
it.
around Washington State. The kids
hey,
love it.
the
I was
kids,
just gonna
the
say,
kids eat
in
very
Washington
healthy.
State, yeah, in Washington State,
So
if you walk around, there also might be a lag on one of our ends. So I'll say something and it'll be like 1 second after I pause is when you say something. But what I was gonna say is that with Washington State, you can walk around if you're in like July, August time. There's blackberries everywhere. Everywhere there are blackberries. So like I'll be on a run, probably every other run, I'll stop halfway through, eat like a fucking half pound of blackberries, and just continue my run.
yeah, so I'll tell you what we did with the kids in the beginning. I swear to you, and this was my idea. I said to Bianca, I strongly believe the reason that you get kids that like hate fruit and vegetables but love chocolates and ice cream is because the parents make chocolates and ice cream like, oh no, that you can't have this, and make it like this, like Adam and Eve, the unattainable thing. So I said to her, we must just have like chocolates in the cupboard. If anyone wants, they can have, and ice cream, within reason. But we must say like fruits are treats you can only have once in a while, and vegetables. And we did that. Jake will choose butternut over chocolate.
Wow. Holy shit.
Okay.
You figured it out.
Danny loves his fruit. And still, after supper, they say, can I have a piece of chocolate? We say with pleasure. They won't sit there and finish a whole slab. They'll each have a small piece, and that's enough for them. It's always been available. There's never been obviously, if they want to eat 40 ice creams, the answer is no. But when they were younger, it was always like, look, we got a treat for you. Here's a banana. And they love it. All of them will eat their fruits. They love their fruits and vegetables. But dad not.
Yeah.
So we got a good question here. What about biltong? Do you know what biltong is, Cade?
Biltong? I feel like I've heard of that.
It's a South African food. So biltong, it's almost like dry vors in a way, like dried meat. I don't know if you've ever had that. Sort of, yeah. Sort of like beef jerky. But we famous in South Africa for having the most delicious biltong. And they come like they everywhere, bro, and it's so delicious. You can get like huge pieces that you like cut, or you can get it sliced in different spices and whatever. But it's like a stable, a South African food. That and boerewors, which is just like sausages, but really delicious sausages, is also a South African food. But Cade, you strike me as a very healthy guy, bro.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty healthy. I eat like the standard meals are probably a protein pancake situation with frozen blueberries, and then I'll have a acai bowl that I make with frozen fruit and protein powder. No, not protein powder. Sorry, just the fruits, and then like protein granola, and then I'll have this like bodybuilding meal that I just found out about a few months ago, and I've been eating it every day. It's amazing. It's you mix Greek yogurt, like a big spoonful of Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, with some soy sauce and some ketchup, and then hot sauce if you have it, and then salt and pepper. You mix up into this little concoction. You put it onto the bottom of the bowl. You cook a big. I have a wok. It's like this big pan bowl thing. Yeah. So I have a wok, and so I throw either kale or spinach or some kind of collard green in there. It cooks a little bit. Then I drop an egg, and then I drop my meats, whatever meat it is, like ground beef or chicken or whatever. And then I drop some rice, like usually a cup and a half of rice. And then I drop like a small pinch of like cheese and then salt and pepper. And then I'll just mix that up. Then I'll dump that into the bowl with all that sauce. And the Greek yogurt makes everything thicker, and it just adds a little bit of like texture or whatever. And then you just mix all that shit up into this big monster mash. And it's so filling. It's so satisfying. I love it. But yeah, that's pretty much the only meals. Then I have like apples for snacks, and like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's hilarious. I like KFC. And KFC is coming. And KFC is coming into the, I don't want to call it the metaverse. What do you want to call it? So KFC BuckETH. Basically, it's for 1 year. Anyone who owns this NFT you get a year's worth of chicken, right?
Wow.
So I think that's pretty cool. That's especially for someone who actually like really goes to KFC often. I don't. It's like no, I don't. I mean, I'd like even like a McDonald's or any of them. It will maybe be once every couple of weeks, once a week, maybe on a weekend. But it's not like you eat there every day. So you want to get your value. So KFC India is entering the crypto space by dropping KFC BuckETH, quick service restaurant chain own non-fungible NFT token. It will give you a year's worth of KFC. I just want to see if there's a limit on it. So the NFT was dropped earlier today. Here's what this might open a new window, but let's see. No.
Seeing BuckETH makes me want to go onto the ENS website and just scroll. Like I am convinced that I can find an ENS that will sell for $10,000 or $100,000. I just want to scroll, bro. I think I can do it.
Yeah, the problem is you might have to buy like 100 or 200.
Yeah,
to find that one.
Probably. Yeah. That's all right. I got
select
time.
One. So just to clarify this is that there's only one of these NFTs up for grab, and that one winner will get a year supply worth of NFTs.
Is it expensive to get it?
No, so they basically they're doing it like a competition, and then they're going to drop it to one winner, right?
Gotcha. How do you win it though? Like, what's the competition? Is it a competition? Have they said? Does it say
okay, so I'll tell you here. Budding artists, KFC fans with an opportunity to connect with the brand in the most unique manner. In order to participate in the contest, you will need to first visit the official Instagram handle for KFC India and screenshot the Ultimate Chicken Lover checklist, which will be available in the account stories. Then you need to fill out the checklist with GIFs, images, or text and post it to your Instagram story while tagging KFC India. The restaurant chain will select one winner who will get ownership of KFC BuckETH NFT and the year supply of chicken.
And then what? Like, you can use it at any KFC in the world, or did they get like? How does that work? Is it just in India?
I think it's just India, but I mean they've got 600 restaurants across 150 cities in India. So, I mean, I don't think the guy's planning on traveling. And if you are, cancel your plans and just get value. Just eat KFC.
That's fucking hilarious. That is funny.
Yeah, I think the guy might end up passing away from a heart attack. I mean, if I won it, it's like, what are we eating tonight? KFC. What are we eating for breakfast? KFC. What are we eating for lunch? KFC.
Exactly.
So,
that's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had free food, that's what I would do too, bro. Like I spent a few $100 a month on food, and I would love to not do that. Like the other day, actually yesterday, I went to Chipotle and I ordered something that I thought was sustainable, because I was like, okay, how much would it cost if I truly, because I've been seeing people on TikTok say, just buy Chipotle every day and just stop buying groceries. It'll save you time, money, and all this stuff. And I was like, nah, like if I buy Chipotle every day, it'd still be more expensive. But then I did the math and I said, okay, if I was typically going to get Chipotle, what would I get? I don't want to get all the extra stuff that I normally get, because I always order extra things because I don't go often. So I was like, if I'm going to go every day, like what are the standard things I'm probably going to get? It came out to be $12 exactly. And I said, okay, $12 a day for, say I got it every day, 7 days, or I'll get something equivalent to that, about $12 a day. Because I really only eat one meal, and then the other two things I eat just because I can. But like, so honestly, sometimes I'll just make myself eat it just because like I haven't had enough food. So if I did that every day, it comes out to $85 a week, which is like less than I pay right now by far for groceries. Like I'm spending over $100, probably like $120 on groceries a week.
I don't know what Chipotle is.
Oh, Chipotle is like it's like a Moe's. It's like a build your own Mexican style burrito taco type deal. It's like a healthy version of it's like a Subway kind of, but like a Mexican style kind of thing. It's not really Mexican, but it's really good. They have burritos, tacos, burrito bowls, things like that. And but like typically like those kind of restaurants you're gonna spend anywhere from $10 to $13 every time. And if I'm only once a day, then like I can have that.
Supper. Okay.
No, like I usually just eat like towards the end of the day, and I'll eat like one big meal, and then like later on at night I'll like either make myself because I get hungry, but like that's one of those things that I could just get something that's really cheap as my second meal. Like I could just keep the protein pancakes. It's like all I have for that is protein powder, pancake batter, and frozen berries. That's like $10 a week at most that I would spend on that meal. And I was like, shit, I should just cut out all the other food. Like, stop having food in my apartment because I got to cook. I got to do dishes. It takes time to walk to the grocery store. I spend $5 on the scooter every time to go to rent it.
Is it not healthier what you're making for yourself than ordering from this
It's about the
place?
same. And it's about the same.
Is
I
it?
mean, it's just rice. Yeah, it's very, their
And
food
are
is
you
very
calculating
simple.
just what your 1 meal a day ingredients would cost from the supermarket is more than $85 a week? Or are you
Every
including
time I go to the
other
grocery store,
stuff?
every time I go to the grocery store, I spend at least like $75, and I go probably 1.5 times a week, if that makes sense. Like, I probably
But
go every like
that includes like milk and stuff that you're still going to need, right? How much will you spend at the grocery store if you order from Chipotle? You'll
if I was
still
going to
spend like
Chipotle,
$30, $40 a
no,
week.
I mean, no.
You still need a
The only thing I would buy, that wasn't Chipotle for food would probably be just. I mean, protein powder lasts like a couple months, so I don't need to buy protein powder. Pancake batter lasts 2 to 3 weeks for me for the amount I buy, and then frozen berries, like those will last a long time. I only use like a serving or something per meal. So I'm like, shit. If that's the only food I have to buy besides Chipotle, that's going to be about the same price minus all the heavy work of groceries and stuff. And I was like,
agree.
fuck. Maybe I'll do that. I'm scared of doing it though, because I'm worried I'm not going to like it anymore.
If the math is right, do it.
Yeah, sure. Duchan, good question here.
Yeah, so I saw my Moonbird. Okay, that's me, but curious if I think the proof Moonbird 30th of August announcement, sell the news, buy the hype, they moved up 3 ETH over the last few days. Yeah, so Don, actually last Freestyle Friday with Cade, when we saw them at about, I think it was 11 ETH, I said to Cade, it's getting interesting. I my exact words, remember, I said it starts to make me want to buy in again. I do think it depends on whether you are trying to flip or long-term. Long-term, I still believe in the proof ecosystem. I mean, they just had their Grail 2 drop now for Grail trait Moonbirds. And depending on what artist you got, I mean, guys are selling, the good ones for 30, 40 ETH, and they're selling. And this is the second Grails collection that Proof ecosystem has got, so Proof holders, as well as now certain Moonbird holders. I do that high rise announcement was interesting. Actually, we spoke a lot about all of it last week. If you haven't, I did a standalone video that I just edited from it that you should watch. But yeah, I am quite bullish long term on them, although that taste of I was going to use a word that I know will demonetize me. That dictator Kevin Rose, who just rugged me of my IP rights without asking me first. Yeah, who knows better than me. I just wish with the CCO thing, when I say knows better than me about my NFT that I own, when it was advertised as IP rights and then took it away, I just think the better approach would have been to ask the community, much better. And listen, not just ask them for the sake of pretending like you, but actually listen to what the community's concerns were, because that for me left a bad taste. Because what is he going to do next? Okay,
that's the question. That's the question. Like, if he's not going to take your advice, then he needs a damn good reason that he's not going to take your advice, because we're going to move into CCO. It's like, okay, why? Like, what is the real reason that you think this is the best decision? If you can explain that, then maybe it's okay. But what is it? I mean, well, if I haven't heard it, it hasn't been a good enough explanation.
No, he wants long term. He believes that CCO is the way to go and is the best way to make a huge brand long term.
No, I got that part. I'm just saying his explanation wasn't good. It wasn't good enough to be like, oh, I get it. That's fine. That's the response you want to get from your holders after you make a big decision like that, for them to be like, oh, like that was smart. Like I understand what your perspective is. They just dropped an announcement that says, oh, by the way, you don't have IP rights. Here's kind of a reason why I think it'll be a good idea down the line.
What's his reason for not consulting? I don't know. Exactly. I think he thinks he knows better than the holders. And maybe he does. Listen, I don't know.
Maybe he does.
I didn't like that at all. So we got some alpha from Anthony about Chipotle. He says it's not that healthy. Much better to buy your own food and cook it in your own.
I don't know. It's just rice and meat and lettuce and tomato or salsa.
Cooked with oil, and it's not. If it's takeaway, then it's not healthy.
No, it's It's like normal fucking.
Like
It's like
fast
standard.
food.
I've worked in restaurants like that. Like I've worked at Verde. I've worked at like a Subway. Like I've worked at those kind of restaurants. They just get food and they cut it up and they just drop it in the bins and then that's what you get. And it's made standard. Like I mean, maybe they use a little bit of extra fucking oil or something, but it's like I'm using the same shit. There's only. I mean, the difference you're talking about, Anthony, I think is like 100 calories or 200 calories or something. And like that doesn't matter for me if I'm only just gonna eat that meal and like a snack. And then I don't know. I mean, I've heard a lot of people saying there's like all these ingredients, but I'm like, yeah, it's literally just rice, meat, and some toppings. Like, there's really nothing else there. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's right. I don't know.
Look, I don't even know what the restaurant is, so I can't comment.
I'm just doing it for the sake of saving time and money. I think it does save me money, fact, and it does save me time, fact. So like those two things, I'm like, man, that's tough to argue because I'm wasting a lot of time right now running back and forth, doing dishes. It takes forever. It just kind of like ruins your thing that you got going, especially when you're on like a roll or you're being productive. You're like, fuck, I go get groceries. I gotta go do my laundry. Or I have to do my dishes. And I'm like, man, if I could just
look, I'll be honest with you, bro. If I lived alone, I would order Uber Eats all day, every day from different restaurants. There's no way I would spend time cooking. It takes a while to
cook. Yeah, not that much time. It's just more like a mental thing almost. That like the time it takes to like set aside to do something. And I don't fucking know. Maybe I'll just try it. I'll try it for a month or something. If
you enjoy cooking and whatever, then do it. If you don't, and it's a big pain in the ass for you, I would swap. I would stop doing it.
Yeah.
Boss Beauties, man. Cade, this was before your time. Anyone who knows me knows that I loved or love Boss Beauties. I mean, I haven't heard much from them lately. So, do you know this collection at all?
I don't.
So, there was that whole female meta that was really brought on by when World of Women went to 20 ETH. But these guys came along. They've done so many notable collabs and notable things. They went all the way to about 3 ETH. Obviously, we are in a market at the moment. But it's the first time I've seen their name in like the press about NFTs for a long time. And I was a big fan of this. Up to 3.5 ETH. And there was something that happened July, went up again to 2. So they've basically announced a collab with WME, the Women's Wrestling Federation thing. And yeah, I think that's really, really cool. And they'll represent Boss Beauties in areas, assist in adapting its intellectual property across Web3, film, TV, digital, and gaming platforms. Boss Beauty's first NFT collection, consisting of 10,000 digital portraits, sold out in 90 minutes. Each portrait of the woman in the brand's signature NFT collection represents qualities aligned with the company's mission. The NFTs showcase women in roles. So they've now done this thing with WME, which will really open them up to appear in movies, games, music videos and stuff like that. These characters, these Boss Beauty characters. So I thought that was quite cool. Nice,
I like that.
Nice for me to see their name. Yeah. I'm really bullish on the team. I'm really bullish long-term on this team. I really, really am. I mean, even now in this market, you're seeing above floor sales consistently. Like that's 1 ETH where the floor is 0.3. Yeah. Here's another 1 ETH that was yesterday so 3 times. And you always see that. They've definitely got a great following, but the team just execute. I mean, when I was involved and in there was just announcement after announcement after announcement. So yeah,
it's very impressive. That's very cool. And I'm glad that projects are like the ones that are doing it right are doing cool. Like they're doing what I was hoping back in the fall when I was screaming and hollering about brand and IP. Because I was like, it's just going to matter. It's going to matter more than people think. And honestly, that's why I like Luca, I think his name is, because he talks about brand and IP. He's like, the goal of projects shouldn't be to make a game or make this or make that. He's like, it just should be to build your IP and to become the strongest name out there. And I was like, finally, a fucking founder who says it outright. Like, that's exactly what I was hoping. And so I'm excited to talk to him about that. But that's absolutely right. Like, building your IP like this, that's a fucking way stronger play than making a video game.
Yeah, for sure. Anthony CCO killed moonbirds, and if you don't consult your community, it's totally disrespectful. Thank you, Anthony. I agree 100%.
Damn. Philip's trying to crush his own connections with Kevin Rose for a podcast.
You can have Kevin Rose. I'm taking Clone X. You're welcome to him.
Deal.
I'm not. Listen, I'm over it. Well over it. I just don't agree with the decision from a holder perspective, but also from if I was advising a project. I don't think you just make your own decisions.
Sure.
In the end of the day, I bought that NFT. It's not my father. Can't make decisions for me. Fucker. Alrighty. Clearly, I'm over it, right?
Yeah.
So the Bender crisis has been averted. Thank God.
Bro, you're missing a D.
Okay, let's see. No.
Ben Dow.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the Chinese thumbnail for our Chinese audience. Ben Dow NFT.
Oh, God.
Yes, I am missing a D. Thank you very much, Cade. Okay, so what we have seen is that all these health scores are looking a lot stronger, well over the one, since the floor price of these collections has somewhat recovered. But I do think, Kate, that it's highlighted a risk, and a bit of cracks in the Bender, thought, the way that they've structured this, that, there can be these events and these long-term bear markets, perfect storm like we're seeing at the moment, with the macro really looking bad, crypto really looking bad, and by extension NFTs really looking bad for an extended period of time. That can mean that people who lent against their assets now owe more than the asset is actually worth, leading to liquidation. So I do think that even though it seems for now we have averted this issue, I do think it does have to make everyone think, and I'm sure they will. They're going to have a look at this really carefully, and they're going to end up putting things in place to hopefully make it more able to withstand these type of market events, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I have many thoughts. Well, actually, no. I do have a thought on this, which is interesting with the Ben Dow thing. If they hadn't, culture is such a big part of Web3 that it's crazy, because I don't know if this hadn't blown up on Twitter, if this would have been saved. There's a chance this would have gone straight down, and we would have had every single terrible thing that everyone was worried about happen without Twitter making it a trending topic and people getting attention and buying and putting in bids and having options as far as what would incentivize people to bid on them, and flip it immediately for profit, like Franklin with the Bored Apes, he was talking about. He made 5 ETH just from flipping NFTs super quick, just off bidding.
Yeah. Well, look, they went down all the way to 15 Ethereum. They now, in their treasury, they now have 33,000 again.
Gee Christ.
Look, I love people who think out the box, and I love people who innovate, and these guys are doing exactly that. They really, really are. If you think of Web 2 world, this is common. You can't afford a house. You give the bond, the deed, the title deed of the house to the bank. The bank effectively owns the house until you pay them back for that loan. And if you can't pay them back, they can come and repossess your house and sell your house to cover their loan. I mean, that's your car. When you buy a car, if you do it that way, it's the same thing. You don't own your car until you pay it off. And so to see guys innovating in the NFT space is really, really encouraging. And they've done it well. It's technically beyond my expertise, but I hope that they've learned the lessons they need to and come out stronger from this, because I think that this is good for the space overall, right?
Yeah.
To have this type of thing in there. But I mean, look, not a easy. I wouldn't want a business like this. I mean, the stress, the risk is just massive. Really, really and truly.
I would never put a fucking thing like that. It's so risky. Yeah, exactly. It's just not. That's not worth the borrowing because you're borrowing. So basically the way it works, people don't know. You put your asset up, your NFT that you don't want to sell because you want the ETH that it's worth, but you don't want to actually sell it. So you put it up for auction. Essentially, you give it to Bendao. They give you your ETH that it's worth plus like 40% or something. So you get a bunch of ETH in exchange, but you got to pay it off. And if you get liquidated, you get fucked, and you got to pay it back. And there's all these things. So it's super high risk, but you get a shit ton of ETH. If you have a top project. So I mean, it depends how much risk you're able to take on.
Anthony, just let us know something. Let's just say that my APR, my health factor, when it goes below that threshold of 1, the floor on mutants needs to be 12. Let's say I'm sleeping and the floor on mutants goes to 11.8. Do I get a grace period? Does Bendao contact me in however, like an email or whatever, and say to me, look, your APR has fallen below the health factor. You've got 24 hours to pay us back, or we list it? Or do they automatically list it when it drops below that 1? If you know, please let me know.
I believe it's 48 hours. I believe it's 48 hours.
Yeah. Okay, so then you're not going to wake up and not have it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I read somewhere, that you get 48 hours, but it's one of those things like, what if you don't got the money? what if you're using that money on something? Like, well, I don't have like 2 days isn't enough time, you're fucked. And that's the risk, right? That's the risk of you getting ETH. Like, there is a risk that comes with it.
Yeah, well, that's the risk of using money that you need to buy
leverage.
Pictures of monkeys.
Wait, can you tell me something? Because you're the only one that I know a couple people who know it, but like, what was it like when I may have asked you this before? What was it like when you clicked buy on a Bored Ape? Because that's a big fucking move. That's a big move right there.
Yeah, I'll tell you a couple of things. It was very, very scary because it was a lot of money. Yeah. No, really, it was a lot of money, and we were at the heart of the bear. ETH was $1,000, and could have gone. Everyone was saying was going to go to 300, and the floor was whatever 70 ETH, and everyone's thinking it could go to 0. So it was quite scary because it was a large amount of money. So that was the one side. The other side of it was it was a great sense of achievement. It really was in the space. Obviously I could have come in the space from day one and, bought a Bored Ape. And even if the Bored Ape was the same price, could have bought it. But, I didn't put in all that money. A lot of it was earned in the space by either flipping or community management, advising, whatever. At least half of it was earned in the space and half of it was worked my way up from a small amount that I put in the beginning and topped up here and there.
Yeah.
So it was a huge sense of achievement. It really was. But I was pretty scared because I was risking, everything I'd made in the space that I'd been building for the whole year. I had never taken from ETH into my bank account. It was everything that was paid in ETH was kept in ETH. Every sale where I made profit. So I was saying I pretty much I had to sell a lot to get there. Not everything, but a lot. And I was risking it all on one trade. So it was mixed. It was a lot of pride, a great feeling to achieve that. But on the other side, shit, am I throwing away everything that I've worked for the last year?
Damn, dude, that is fucking crazy. Also, how did you end up getting those jobs working as like community managing and all this stuff? Like, did they know you were a YouTuber? Did they reach out to you? They watch your videos?
I wasn't a YouTuber initially at all. So the very first NFT that I bought ever, that I minted, I went on rarity.tools and I saw it. It was a project called Wolf Club. And the art was beautiful. I knew nothing about NFTs. I just knew I wanted to get in the space. And I ended up buying a shitload of these. I think I bought 20 Wolf Clubs. I've still got them all. I could show them to you. So do you want me to show you? Well, I'll find it while I'm talking. Okay. So I bought 20 of them. And then they had a problem with their mint where they didn't realize, but people could mint for 0 if they understood the contract and everything. So when they realized that some people were minting for 0 instead of 0.08 per NFT, they stopped the mint. And then ended up having to refund everyone who bought and then try to relaunch again. But and they had a lot of hype. They sold 1,000 in like 2 minutes and then paused it and spent 2 weeks refunding everyone. So their intentions were really good, and then tried to relaunch and could never sell more than a couple of hundred. Yeah, I've got the pictures of them. I still love the art. Let me just share this.
Oh, those are sick.
Yeah.
Dude, those are cool. I like those.
Yeah.
That's funny that you bought into Wolf Club when I've got like 20 Wolf Boy social clubs. So we must both be into wolves or something.
Yeah, I really love that. It reminds me of the cartoon. I'm gonna with your grandmother. What's it?
The one
art
the
was
one it reminds
amazing.
me of. Yeah. What does
The artist is Chloe. She's really quite incredible. Anyway, so to cut a very long story short, I ended up. Here's the collection. You can see gone to zero. Tiny amount of volume traded, but I ended up now with all the money I'd put in to NFTs is now going to zero. And I bought like 20 of these things. You saw, I mean, I still have 20 of these things. And so I started in Discord just giving my opinions very respectfully on where I think we should go next. And also telling the community to relax, because everyone wanted to kill everyone, and say, look, let's put stuff together. Let's help the founders. Let's work together. We all are invested in this financially. And I ended up rallying the Discord. Anyway, Ari, one of the founders, reached out to me. He said, can he phone me? I said, with pleasure. And he said, look, he's looked at some of the ideas and they're really good. And what is my background? I said, no, marketing. I said, look, we got to do this. We got to do that. So he said, well, thank you for your time. Can I phone you again? I said, sure. So we started talking. And after a couple of weeks, he said to me, listen, will you be community manager? Will you? So I sort of became unofficially a mod there. I was never officially a mod. I was unofficially a mod. I was just trying to keep everyone in, stop them abusing, and let's just try and work together. And then he said, can I be community manager? I said, bro, look, I'm happy to help you. I've got my own bag of 20. This is selfish. I'm happy to help you without anything. Like I don't know how to be a community manager. This is my first NFT project that I've minted. I got no idea. He says, no, I'll teach you. Like, it's not hard. You pretty much do what you're doing at the moment. Be the bridge between the founders and So I ended up becoming community manager of Wolf Club over there, having a team of mods under me. Morland was one of those mods. That's how I met Morland. There was another guy, Chris, all in Wolf Club. And in those days, it wasn't that we jump into projects quickly, flip it and get out. Like, we knew each other. We were in that Discord playing games. Like that was the only project that existed in the whole of NFTs, and we loved being there, and we had a good community going there. Anyway, at that stage, Space Punks, do you remember Space Punks with the space thing? They were doing well. They had just launched their Dinos. Their floor price shot up. They said they were going to do a launch pad. And they did do a launch pad where projects could be launched through them with their experience. So I thought, let's relaunch Wolf Club and let's get on the Space Punks launch pad. So I reached out to Space Punks. I was a Space Punk holder. So by that time, I'd bought a few other NFTs. I was being paid by Wolf Club. So I had ETH coming in. And I reached out to Space Punks. And I said to them, look, I'm community manager for Wolf Club. We want to relaunch. I set up a meeting with Pinky, was the one guy's name, that they had there. Peter was the other guy who I spoke to. And we set up a meeting with Wolf Club and us, and they loved it. They loved the art. They understood. We were completely transparent what happened. They understood. And they said, look, let's do it. The only thing is we need our developer to look at your contract. Now, I had nothing to do with that contract, the Wolf Club contract, and I thought everything had been fixed because we then resumed minting on a new contract. So we said, no problem. So they looked at the contract. They came back to us about 3 days later. They said, guys, as much as it pains us, we can't go ahead with this contract. There's still these loopholes. People could still mint for nothing, whatever. They just couldn't do it. But through that, I built a very strong relationship with the guys at Spacepunk. They were impressed by me, and they ended up a week later reaching out to me and saying, can I please go into every project that's on their launch pad with my team of mods and prep them pre-launch. So do a full website audit. So let's say that Space Punks takes on project XYZ and they're launching in a month's time. We would go in, we were called the mod squad. We would go in and I would I would fully audit the website, which I'm really good at. Not just stupid thing like spelling errors, like proper, make sure that everything is what should be there is there. Whatever. Advise them. I think you should all be doxxed.
Yeah.
I think we should do this. I think we should do that. Stress test the website and whatever. I would also do the same thing on Discord, because with Wolf Club, they just handed me the keys and they pretty much disappeared. And I had to learn, like I would like long term. I don't mean immediately, but I'm saying like after a couple of months, I was pretty much there with the mods alone. We never saw the founders. And so me and Morgan, I were trying to figure out how to work a Discord and whatever. So, every so often I'd break something and have to get help. But I learned quite a lot. So I would have a look at the same thing you do in your reviews where you say too many channels or whatever. I'd completely go through their Discord, fully audit it and all of that. And so I ended up working on about 6 projects for Space Punks, of which all of them ended up offering me to stay on after launch as their either head mod or community. So they saw that, and I worked hard, and they saw the value. The communities all loved me, all the people in the community. There might have been 1 or 2 people didn't, but for the most part, I was really well liked. And so I ended up, there was one stage where I was working simultaneously as community manager for 4 projects. And so like there would be a holder in one of these projects who then wanted to launch an NFT and would also reach out to me. So there were other projects outside of the Space Punks ecosystem that also reached out to me. And that's how I got to Tiptoe Punks, which I absolutely loved. And, that was the last one that I was doing. I really loved it. But I just didn't have time for it. And I ended up giving my notice on all of them and walking away. But yeah, that was how I earned a bit. Listen, I earned a shitload more than I am doing talking to you on YouTube. But it's not about the short-term gain. It's about building something long-term. Now,
it's a really good investment in yourself, especially for this industry. If you can just, in 6 months or whenever the market returns, and people keep saying we might not see another bull market. I'm like, you're fucking crazy. The crypto's been around for years. If the market is healthy, money comes back into the ecosystem. It's not like NFTs are dead. Like maybe we won't see the same euphoric highs. We're going to see bull runs though. Like we're going to see market. There is money on the sidelines right now. Like people don't think that there's money here. I'm like, guys, Punch Beans just flew to 4 ETH. Someone just spent $400 or 400 ETH. Like there are people dropping ungodly amounts of money.
It's sitting on the sidelines waiting.
Exactly. It'll come back, and that's when it'll really pay off.
Even if NFTs are not dead, but quiet down and never return to Bored Apes being $500,000, even if Web3 and the blockchain is the future, there is no doubt. And that's really where I see it. So like the big thing for me is that, with Perkel, we offer, a lot of different marketing services to companies. So we can do their printed material, we can do their clothing, their gifts, we can do their gazebos, we can do their banners. So at some stage, one of my big clients is going to want an NFT collection. And I do think it fits in very, very well to me being in the marketing space, business to business. We've got the clients already. We sole supply in South Africa to BP. We sole supply in South Africa to Siemens. We've got a lot of big contracts. And when they just like talking, they don't even know I'm in NFTs. Have you heard of this NFT thing? I'm saying in a couple of years or whatever. Yeah. And they'll say, you know what, actually, I can help you. And I really will be able to help them. So that's the long-term. That's a long-term way that it fits into, where my strengths are. I've got those relationships with those businesses already, and I do believe that every single established Web2 brand is going to be in Web3 or the blockchain in some way in the future. Whether it's their membership card for their gym, or Chipotle's membership card, or an internal staff program where they want to track things internally on the blockchain, or whatever, every single Web2 company, just like they have a website and an email address, is going to have something on the blockchain in the future. And when they do,
I
I'm
agree.
going to be waiting here with my friend Cade.
Yeah, we got to be here. It's gonna be good, dude. I'm really excited. It's like that's the one thing that keeps me going when I get like if I start to like panic about stuff or I'm like, oh man, I don't know. Like, what if I stop making money? What if the offers stop coming in? What if I lose everything? Blah blah blah. It's like, yo, this technology is here. It's gonna keep getting better, and as long as I just stay relevant in some way, shape, or form, we'll be okay. And I'm gonna
That's
win.
for sure.
So
The
I'm not
other
gonna not
thing,
win.
Cade,
So.
and the other thing, and I would say this to you off a stream. The other thing is that if NFTs do end up being in an extended bear market for months and years to come, you can always pivot very, very easily to something like just Web3 in general, or crypto, or whatever, something linked, but not exactly NFTs if you need to. And in the end of the day, the equity that you have in your subscribers on these different social platforms you can tap into that in other ways if you needed to. So don't stress. It will it will be okay. Either way, the work you've put in will be for the better.
Hell yeah, dude. Fucking hope so.
You know what this thumbnail means. Like and subscribe, but also it's nearing the end of the show, right?
Yes, it is. Indeed. It's a good show, though. It's a good stream.
Yeah, liked it, man. To our subscribers, our viewers, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for partaking. Loved having you, and we'll see you here, same time, same place next week.
Hell yeah,
Keep
guys.
well,
Smash
guys.
the like button, subscribe. Peace.
Yeah, to both of us. The Cade's details are in the description below. Cheers, guys. Bye.